What's up, guys? Today I am super stoked to be unboxing and taking a deeper look at the Kickstarter-exclusive Classic and Advanced Fantasy box sets of Old School Essentials from Necrotic Gnome and Exalted Funeral. Alright, so here we have my Kickstarter hoard. I backed this Kickstarter all the way back in March of this year, 2022, and it just arrived at my door all the way here in Japan only a couple days ago. So I couldn't contain my excitement. I had to take everything out of the cardboard box and bubble wrap that it came in and check everything out. But everything's still in its shrink wrap because I wanted to share the unboxing experience with you guys. So yeah, as you can see here, I got a sticker sheet, super cool. I love the Necrotic Gnome here. I have decision paralysis, so whether or not I actually peel any of these stickers off and smack them on something remains to be seen, because I have commitment issues. But yeah, they look really nice, and I'm pretty stoked about that. I also picked up all 3 issues of Carcass Crawler, which is the official Old School Essentials zine. These essentially offer additional races, class, player options. There's a dungeon in issue 2. I'm planning on doing another video taking a deeper dive into these, so if you're interested, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know. And yeah, I would be happy to go through that with you guys. Alright, moving on. I am a nerd and a sucker and a collector of DM screens, GM screens, whatever you want to call them. In Old School Essentials, they are referred to as the referee screen. We'll get into that in a second. I'm going to unbox this and check it out with you guys as well, but I think we should probably do that after the piece de resistance. Da, 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 da. So yeah, guys, super stoked. As you can see here, I have the classic game set and advanced expansion set of Old School Essentials. For those who are not in the know, OSE is essentially a retelling, a reorganization, and a modernization of the original BNX D&D rule set, as well as the original advanced D&D, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons rule set. So you can play OSE just fine with the classic fantasy rules, and this is kind of the very OG, original, pure D&D experience. And then if you're like me and you're a big fucking nerd and you can never have enough, you can get the advanced expansion set, which essentially reworks the class and player options from AD&D to be able to pop into the classic rules, right? Okay, so flipping them over on the back, we'll take a deeper dive real quick. So yeah, as you can see, what makes these box sets really unique and cool is that they come with all of the different sections of the rules in their own individual books. So there's character, magic, adventures, monsters, and treasure in the classic game set, and then characters, 9 new character classes, magic, over 100 new spells, monsters, 120 terrifying new monsters, and treasures. 150 fantastic new magic items. So as you can see, I should say, the advanced fantasy box set is really an expansion set to the classic fantasy. I'm a professional editor, and I thought this was hilarious. You can see here in the advanced fantasy set, it says book 1, 2, 3, and 5. I saw some people in the Facebook community pointing that out. Personally, I think it's charming and hilarious, and I love it, so I wouldn't have it any other way, but I couldn't help myself pointing that out. Yeah, let's get into it. Holy shit, guys, I'm stoked. I've got my handy dandy hobby knife. Don't try this at home, kids. And I'm going to very carefully cut into it. You know, my days working in a kitchen, they always told me to cut away from yourself, but I like to live dangerously. Oh yeah, fresh out the plastic wrap. So yeah, we're gonna dive in. So Necrotic Gnome is Gavin Norman, who is really an old school Renaissance darling at this point. He's the creator of Old School Essentials. He's also the creator of Dolmenwood, which is his own campaign setting that is very beloved in the community. I have run a few of those adventures myself and really love them. So yeah, let's flip it over again real quick. As you can see, Kickstarter-exclusive gold foil on the front. I'm really stoked about that. And these box sets were released in the past. I believe they've been, basically all the erratas are included in these new printings, and all of the art is brand new. And the gold foil is, again, Kickstarter-exclusive. So these will be available to purchase online in the near future, I believe, once all of the Kickstarter orders have been fulfilled. But you'll never get the shiny gold foil like me, haha. All right, so opening it up, you can see the contents. We've got an Old School Essentials product catalog, which is pretty hilarious. You already got me, so we're just gonna move right on in. All right, let's pop these out. So as you can see, we've got the character book, the magic book. I'm just gonna move this off to the side. Adventures book. And then we have treasures and monsters. So, to give you guys an idea of what makes the box set situation so special is that this is essentially the rules tome that you can purchase online that has all of the rules all in once. But with these individual books, they're essentially modular. So as a game master, you can decide what you want in your game and what you don't want in your game. What also makes this really handy is that when you're sitting at the table with your friends getting ready to play, if one of your friends needs to look up some magic spells and another one of your friends is rolling a new character because theirs just got splattered in a dungeon, you can just hand them the character book really quick, and then you don't have to fiddle around with one big tome passing it around. The GM needs the rules. Yeah, everything is individual, which is really nice. So this is the character book for the classic rule set. And again, essentially just BNX D&D. So I just want to do a quick flip through and give you guys an idea of what it looks like inside with the brand new art. Something that makes Old School Essentials really special is the layout and how well everything is designed with ease of play and ease of use in mind. So here we have player characters. You can see this is a quick rundown explaining all of the different points of what makes a character and what you need to know. This is pretty funny. In OSE, there's rules for THAC0, which is the very old school way of determining whether or not you've hit a target. But of course, the more modern preferred rule set is Ascending AC or Ascending Armor Class, which is presented in Old School Essentials as an optional rule. When I run OSE, I always use Ascending AC. It's explained very easily. Creating a character here. Ability scores, the classic 6, strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. Prime requisites is something interesting and unique to more old school versions of D&D, which essentially means when you're rolling up a character, there are certain ability scores required to be able to play a certain class. Alignment, classic old school D&D stuff. I love this like pseudo samurai hobgoblin thing going on here. That's pretty cool. And boom, here you go. Here's a perfect example of the gorgeous new art. We have what looks like a paladin or a fighter here, getting ready to face off with a lich or some sort of, who knows, skulking. Pretty awesome stuff. Boom. Love the gorgeous art. Dwarf temple, classic runes. All right. Here's another example of the gorgeous, evocative art that you can see in the OSE books. I love the old school flavor, the old school flair, but it still feels modern in its own way. You know what I mean? I feel like this kind of art really, evokes the type of feel that I'm going for when I play D&D, and that's why I love Old School Essentials. Okay, boom! And here we have the advanced box set. So, like I said before, this is essentially an expansion on the classic rules, and it takes the player, race, class, options, treasure, monster options from AD&D and adapts them so they are usable with the classic B&X rule set. So yeah, again, you can see up here in the corner, this set of 4 deluxe hardcover books contains extra classes, rules, magic, and monsters inspired by the 1970s advanced first edition game. A little bit of legalese there, dancing around the fact that this is truly an adaptation of classic D&D. Flipping it over to the side, you can see here, Old School Essentials is an award-winning role-playing game of fantastic adventure, monsters, and magic. Players delve into forbidden crypts and forsaken ruins, explore haunted forests and perilous mountain ranges, sail the high seas in search of lost lands, recover fabulous treasures, and unearth secrets of ancient magic. If that's not the most D&D description I've ever heard, I don't know what is. Okay, again, we've got another product catalog showing. Send that out to space. And again, you'll see here as I flip out these boxes, or these books, I should say. We've got characters, we've got magic, we've got monsters, and we've got treasure. With really, really badass bitchin' art. I mean, holy shit, look at this dragon. It's amazing. I love this art as well. For the treasures, it looks like we've got 2 paladins or, fighters fighting over this magical crown, the crystals and the magic. Again, super bitchin', super evocative, very like 70s, 80s, classic old school fantasy, Old School Essentials that just gets me really stoked. I love this style, and I think if you're into the more old school way of play, then OSE is definitely a game that you should check out. Also, I mean, come on, look at this cover art for the Old School Essentials Advanced Fantasy Magic expansion book. We have a druid here using, some sort of thorny vine spell on this guy, and again, it's badass, man, and it shows the lethality, the verisimilitude of combat in Old School Essentials. It's not flashy, it's not comic booky, it is very much in your face dopeness. And yeah, this is like what all the spines look like. They would look nice on the shelf, or again, you can put them back in the box and display them that way. Continuing to use the advanced fantasy magic as an example, you can see here on the back, Druid and Illusionist spells inspired by the weird and wondrous 1970s advanced rules. 34 Druid spells from 1st to 5th level. Simple blessings to tame the wild, indispensable prayers to heal wounds and ward against harm, mighty invocations to unleash the destructive powers of nature, and 72 illusionist spells from 1st to 6th level. Cunning, glamorous to beguile and deceive, flashy illusions to conjure dreams and imaginations, weird dwomers that warp time and twist reality. So again, as you can see, in advanced D&D, they brought in the Druid and Illusionist classes, and so if your players want to play a Druid or Illusionist, this book is where they would find those spells. Continuing to do a little flip through here with this, awesome little art. You've got very classic things in Tangle. I think that's probably what the dude on the front was getting to the face. We've got Predict Weather, a little bit more benign, but always useful in an adventure. Speak with Animals, classic Druid stuff. Bark Skin, Create Water, Cure Light Wounds, Heat Metal. So we can see here too, even if you guys are fans of 5th edition D&D and more modern interpretations of the game, another great part of Old School Essentials is that you can see the DNA of where all of this came from. Look at that fish guy. I mean, holy shit. Who doesn't love that? Going all the way to the 5th level spells, and now we have illusionist spells. Again, very evocative art. You can see some glowing gems, magic items. Chromatic Orb, that's another classic spell that's made it all the way to 5th edition. Color Spray, Dancing Lights. And here again too, so right, we can see like this gnome illusionist, and he's using some sort of spell to trick or otherwise deceive a monster in a dungeon here, right? And that's another thing about Old School Essentials, is that it's not always about fighting monsters one-on-one and bringing them down to 0 HP as fast as possible. Sometimes you have to use your wits and creativity to survive and get by in a dungeon. So I really like how the art inspires that type of gameplay here. This is awesome. This looks like a very famous wizard, if you're familiar with D&D lore. Mordenkainen. Another awesome Wall of Fog, a depiction of what Wall of Fog might look like, using it against a hobgoblin here. Let's see another awesome full-page spread. Gorgeous art. This looks like it could be a druid or an illusionist using perhaps Whispering Wind here. Third level spells, Fear, classic. Hallucinatory terrain, that's very cool. Invisibility, non-detection, etc. Alright guys, and that's just a very quick rundown and look through of the contents of the Old School Essentials Kickstarter-exclusive box sets. Once again, they will be available for purchase later on online. The only difference is I believe that the gold foil will not be included. I'm planning on making another video going through the game itself and actually giving OSE a thorough review. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And finally, let's take a quick look at the official Old School Essentials Classic Fantasy Referees Tome. So I'm a bit of a nerd, I'm a bit of a geek, a bit of a collector of GM screens. I really enjoy having a GM screen for different systems that I run. So really quickly, you can see this deluxe 3-panel screen for referees of Old School Essentials, Classic Fantasy and Advanced Fantasy games. It includes an attack matrix for monsters and characters, saving throws tables for monsters and all Classic Fantasy classes, which is very handy to have as a GM when you're creating NPCs on the fly and you need to understand, how to rule for their saving throws. Combat rules summary, procedures for encounters, dungeons adventures, and wilderness adventures, another very super handy thing to have while you're running a game in the moment. Summary of downtime options between adventures, which can always be useful if your players decide they want to take a rest or post up in a town that you weren't prepared for. This really helps you adjudicate that process on the fly. We have tables for thief skills and turning the undead, always useful for dungeon delving, complete weapon combat stats, armor types, AC ratings, and ascending AC conversion tables, rules for common adventuring gears, and movement table with base, encounter, and overlay movement rates. Alright. This is what it looks like on the front. We just have this really dope art of these goblins. It looks like they're worshipping some sort of idol here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the whole thing on screen if I peel it out, so we'll probably look at it piecemeal, but again, I just really have to showcase this dope art. Alright, let's cut into this baby and see what we got inside. I'm going to try to do this very carefully and not cut. The GM screen itself. Oh, so satisfying. Oh. Woo. So yeah, this is just the inserts. Send that off to the void. And yeah, here we go. Again, boom, better look at the very evocative goblins worshipping some sort of idol. And I didn't even notice at first actually, but again, it looks like we have a gnome NPC that might be stealing some sort of treasure here, or maybe just hiding behind this pillar as these massive goblins notice their arrival. On the other side, we have a bit of a of a pointing stare off here. You, no you. I don't know, some giant troll with some man boobies going on here. Chicken head. I don't know what the hell is going on here with this art, but I love it. We've got a wizard or an illusionist or some sort of spellcaster. It looks like he's shooting perhaps magic missiles up at these bug creatures. We've got a big purple worm in the back, classic D&D monster, mushrooms. Looks like this might be an Underdark scenario going on here. And again, to give you an idea of the other side of the interior art, it looks like some sort of evil wizard with a flame sword and a very eldritch Cthulhu-esque monster coming out of this portal or cave. Perhaps he's summoning the monster, and the other adventurers hiding behind the pillars that we saw on the other side are attempting to thwart him. And then just to give you guys a very quick idea of what's on the inside, again, this is essentially copy and pasting the tables and quick rules from inside the books onto the GM screen, so you don't have to go fumbling around while you're playing the game with your friends, which is much appreciated. So here we have downtime, things like buying equipment, availability depends on the location. That's not very helpful, to be honest, but it's pretty funny they put that there. Rules for hiring retainers, very simple. Retainer reactions, so retainers might not always automatically agree to join your party. They might put up a bit of a negotiation. Let's see. Dungeon delving, we have rules for darkness, doors, movement, resting, searching. It's a 1 in 6 chance. Traps, very simple. Wandering monsters, wilderness travel, and encounters as well. Coming down to the middle section of the screen is combat. This is probably where you are going to be looking at most of the time, I would say, and this also looks like it's the most comprehensive section of the screen. We've got the attack matrix here. If you're using THAC0, it's very nice to have that here. Quick reminders of how combat works, attack rolls, weapons, what they do, missile weapons, which is basically just ranged weapons like longbows or oil flask. You can throw an oil flask, etc. And then the last section here, we have saving throws, ability checks, movement, class abilities, armor, and AC. So yeah, once again, this is really great for quick references, and then if you want to get down into the nitty-gritty, obviously you would consult the book, but always a pleasure to have this at the table. And again, if we look at this really dope art, how could you say no? Love the goblins, love OSE, very stoked to have it. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me as we take a very quick introductory run through of what you can expect to find inside of the Old School Essentials Classic and Advanced Fantasy Game box sets. I'm planning on doing a much more thorough and comprehensive review of Old School Essentials as a system. So if you're interested in that, once again, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below if there's anything in particular you'd like to see me dive into. Definitely down to hook you guys up, especially looking through the Carcass Crawler zines. Super stoked to get into it. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm a bit of a fan of the system. And yeah, as always, I'm Pally, and until next time, venture forth.